Why are all the black kids sitting together in the cafeteria? As you may have not known, public schools are more segregated today than in the 1980s. Beverly Tatum, our author, was born in 1954 to educated parents who attended Howard University. She was the past president of Spelman College. She moved from Florida to Massachusetts as a child so that she would be taught in a less racist school system. And she was raised in a predominantly white community. Let's question it. Does society cause self-segregation? In the society, minority students aren't expected to be as successful as white students. Even the teachers' responses to black students can cause the feeling of inferior to other races among black students. Secondary students are judged by their proper English, meaning she's talking white, he's talking white if they're a black student who talks proper. Students are judged by stereotypes. For example, a tall black male in the middle school is told, oh, you're going to be a great basketball player. Why can't he be a CEO? Why can't he be the president? Are students taught in the classroom to embrace their culture and have self-pride? Do we give all students the opportunity to embrace their identity? Do we give the opportunities to show that individuality, the cultural differences, talk about it, bring it out? Those are some of the things that Beverly Tatum discusses in her book. Real estate. Real estate agents are actually trained back in the day to only show homes to clients in neighborhoods where their people lived, meaning that if you were from a low-income black family, you were only shown homes in low-income black communities. If you were a white family of wealth, you were considered predominantly above others, and you were shown homes in white communities. It was actually against the law for them to cross the neighborhoods regardless of income. The real estate agents would actually risk losing their license. So by doing this lessens the minority racist opportunities to gain community helpfulness, employment resources from those that had higher income or different races. This also lessens the integration of experiences to learn from. If you're only in a community of people like you, how do you learn from different experiences? So therefore, black children are used to being around and benefiting from people that look like them. Schools. Elementary school. Of course, in elementary school, we all had white friends, we had black friends. Those students are often seen crossing racial lines and sitting together as one class. In elementary school, you weren't allowed to choose your seating. You sat with your teacher. So they were seen as sweet children. They weren't really seen by the color of their skin by society. And they were all generally the same size. There's not, oh, he's tall, he's going to be an athlete. No judgment of what they would be in the future. Elementary teachers are less judgmental as well to their students. Middle and high school is when we saw the change, a drastic change. The children saw drastic changes in their appearances. Puberty began. They began to question, who am I? Where do I belong? What does it generally mean to be black? So schools tend to conduct segregation of students themselves within the middle school and high school by the schedules they give. They give generally black students vocational schedules. They give them cultural similarities, like they put those together with cultural similarities and economic statuses. And success is different for each race in the public school system. For events, minority students are considered successful for just graduating high school. But white children were expected to go to college. Minority youth are actually considered successful if they even got a trade. This was considered less successful than completing a college degree at the time. But as someone entered college, you were grown. You had the opportunity to get more information on your own. There was a variety of paths available to be successful. Everyone in college is expected to be successful. You had better representation of minority success. You even have some all-black colleges where black students found their identity, felt open to the world. Self-isolation was little to none in college classes. Identity search. Who am I? At 7, race was a factor for our children. It was not. Friendship was friendship. Where you sat in the cafeteria didn't matter. Society didn't even see race as a 17-year-old. But again, as a teen black male, it sets in, oh, he's going to be a basketball player. He's going to be an entertainer. Or if he's 6'3" and he's only 15 years old, he walks by and a woman clutches her purse. That tends to shape the identity that a black male sees for himself. He begins to think he's lesser of a person as society shows he may be less of a person. They're frightened of him. And then the identity search. We need to interrupt the cycle of oppression. Why do I have to try much harder than other races? Is a question that our young black youth question themselves. The complexity of identity. Shaped early by family dynamics, individual characteristics, historical factors, social and political contexts. The people around our black youth help construct who they see themselves being as they're trying to find that identity. Social isolation also can defer that identity. Many black youth develop their pride in their culture when they become college-level students and feel the need with comfort of knowing who they are. More information available at the college level helps also to redefine a positive acclamation of themselves, empowered sense of blackness. Identity as an adolescent, racial identity development, school clustering. From early elementary childhood to adolescence, black children are exposed to the culture of the dominant white culture. But do dominant white children get exposed to black culture in the same degree? Reflection through experience that whites are the preferred group in society is the things that some of our black adolescents experience. Testing and class assignments are geared to the white male. Black students who scored in the 90th percentile still weren't placed in AP or advanced classes just because they were black students. These students were still placed on the vocational route that was identified to be best for their cultural opportunities. Students at the middle school levels often try to find out who they were beyond race, economic status, religion, and other identifiers. Socialized to the development and identity that integrates compensations for transacting race, ethnicity, and culture in everyday life. Common goal and standards due to experience, disproportionate access to college training, advanced courses for students of color. All of these are factors of how a student turns to identify themselves. And it's easier to identify themselves in a safe haven with others like them. Identity as an adult. It's a work in progress. More knowledge to know social isolation from other races was a bad idea. You seek opportunities to learn about yourself. Self-discovery. Different level of racism and criticism. Anger due to feeling of no one taking experience as serious as they are. Tatum speaks of an experience of a student president at a university being treated with racism. And he reaches out to the university president and he ignores it as though it's not important. That gave that black student an representation of his life isn't as important as the next. These things start at home. If you don't have that positive or any kind of reinforcement of self-pride at home, you can either have a negative or a positive self-pride. How a black girl sees her sexuality or opportunity in life starts with how the black woman in her home present themselves. The world shows the black woman as a welfare queen, gold digger, baby mama. Rarely in the past did black young girls see themselves as CEOs or teachers, nurses. Black men shown in the media as drug dealers, entertainers, athletes. Never shown as doctors, lawyers, or leaders. Has this gotten better? Of course. As Tatum stated, Obama is president. Obama speaks of his father being able to eat at any chosen restaurant he wants to. We have black leaders. We have blacks that are given leadership jobs in education, other jobs, CEOs. Then with those advances, we do have some setbacks, like the affirmative action misconceptions, Trump administration, and the Black Lives Movement being necessary. She speaks on those things still being necessary in these day and ages. Embracing the race dialogue. In order to stop the idea of all black kids need to sit at the cafeteria together, we need to embrace racial dialogue. Break the silence. Talk about it wherever and whenever you can. Raise consciousness about racial differences and problems. Get past the fear and anger. Be able to communicate and share experiences. Allow other races to share their experiences without the fear of offending someone. Teach us the way and others the way to communicate how they feel about the racial dialogue. So why do all the black kids sit together in the cafeteria? Shared experiences. A place to charge their energy and positivity and being proud of their culture when they've been shut down by teacher responses, when they've been shut down by not being made aware of things. They have identity development and growth that they can share with each other. Defining racial identity, they can define themselves and feel confident. They can speak with someone instead of saying, oh, I didn't know that happened. They can say, I understand how you feel. No false assumptions and support from racist experience. Those who have experienced what they have experienced give better support.